This is my model of a Type 7C U-boat. World War II era, of course, the scourge of the Atlantic, as you want to call it, in the early years of the war. It's a 172 scale Revell kit, and with a submarine, you know, you can make it as pristine as you want, but I couldn't resist doing a little weathering, and the YouTube videos and stuff really make it intriguing. So I gave it a shot, and I think it turned out rather well. And I'm very happy with the model. Of course, I added some 72 scale figures up on the conning tower for, of course, reference of how large people are compared to the model itself. But it also gives a sense of action and you know, something going on there. Now, I don't know the exact history on this boat, but I'm sure it's probably either the bottom of the Atlantic or the Mediterranean or somewhere like that, where it's met its demise like 80% of the U-boats during World War II. So I hope y'all like it. If you have any questions about the weathering process, I did several where I painted layers of paint, and I used the hairspray technique for chipping and a lot of oil paints as far as streaking and that kind of stuff. But I'm very happy with it, and I think this is going to be my entry into the IPMS Richmond come February. I'll be one of them. So anyway, y'all have a good one, and I hope y'all enjoy it.
Really nice.
No, I still got that body kit.
That's pretty fast.
Excellent job, Marty. Is that, you had that at the picnic? Is that the same one?
Yeah, that's the same one I had at the picnic.
I thought I had some pictures to bring up. But...
That's made of plastic.
All right, and any other show and tell? I know Sean's got something. No one else wants to see that. Joseph?
But when you paint, you got
Okay, yep, Joseph.
This is the let's see here. This is the Gunboat Philadelphia from Model Shipways, 124 scale, and I've started. You know, I guess I finished most of the actual boat itself, and I started painting the interior in this light gray, and the exterior in this golden, you know, oak. I think from Model Shipways, and I started working on the dead eyes, and sort of hit a brick wall there just because I'm not really content with those. But I do intend to come back to this and do some more work on it because I haven't worked on this in a couple months. And of course, the Gunboat Philadelphia was, you know, sunk during the Battle of Valcour Island in 1776. So it only had a service life of like 4 months, and so, you know, if this model is ramshackle at all, it's justified because the actual ship was built very hastily, I guess. So, so I guess it justifies some sloppiness. I don't know. And then I started. I used two different types of pewter black to blacken the 9-pounder cannons that go on the starboard and port sides, and one of them is darker than the other one. So, but I forget which one is which. But I think both gave a pretty decent result. One of them is Jack's, and the other one is I do forget the company of it, but you know, I found it on Amazon, and so I think that works pretty well for Britannia metal. And
Was that Jack Pewter Black was the because they have a
That's right.
number of. We talked about this last meeting or maybe the meeting before, where I used the exact same product and I was having trouble getting because it would want to flake off.
Yeah.
And I tried different concentrations of it and brushing it on versus soaking it. And some worked better than others, but none of them worked particularly well.
Right.
But the one really good thing about Jack's Pewter Black, as opposed to some others, from what I understand, I could be wrong, is that it blackens solder just as well as it blackens brass. So you don't have to worry about, I think some of them don't blacken the solder, so you'd end up with black brass and silver solder showing, but everything turns black for that product. So some trade-offs there.
Definitely.
Birchwood casing makes a product too, that people say is real good.
What is it?
Birchwood casing.
Birchwood casing.
It's used by tinsmiths.
The main thing is, are you having fun with?
Yeah.
That's the
Having a lot
main
of fun.
thing.
So. Definitely is a lot of fun. Then I also want to show off the canvas cover that my fiance made for it. So she's great at sewing and whatnot. So there we go.
Awesome.
That's right.
You have to give her credit on the little
Yes.
tab you put on the model.
I will.
On the model.
Sales brush.
Awesome.
There's well, yeah, Crabtree. His wife did a lot of the painting, right?
Almost all.
Yeah.
She also made sale.
So you're the next August Crabtree, I guess.
Just don't paint it with kerosene, right?
What did the Crabtree use, the black stuff they put on telephone poles?
Creosote.
Creosote, he used creosote. He had some creosote, he said it helped the wood.
Yeah.
Well, I'm trying to figure out, the boat I'm working on now, the interior is all tar and the bottom, and actually instead of paint below the waterline on the outside, it's tar. So I'm trying to figure out how am I gonna, because I've seen boats and it has kind of a pit coating and it varies. It's not a uniform color, it varies from dark brown to black kind of thing. I'm trying to figure out how I'm gonna do that. Maybe I just get some creosote. Okay, other show and tells?
We have the Willie L. Bennett. Everybody needs a Willie.
So just a quick note on our new audiovisual equipment. Hopefully the next camera takes care of the lighting better than this. We'll find out. Maybe not next month. I won't be here, so I'm gonna have to pick it up from me. Unless Canada shuts down their border or someone gets sick or the airlines cancel flights, I'll be skiing in Canada next month during our meeting. So
Dog,
yeah,
dog.
someone, if they want to run the AV part of this next month, we have to get with me about that. Sorry for the interruption.
That's okay. I bought this kit at the auction for $20. And I've gone there wanting to get that because I was space that it would fit in. But since then, I've changed my mind. And my girlfriend's been wanting to build a model. She lives in a condo without a lot of room. The decor is all coastal, so this is probably a cool model for it. But so then, when I checked out the box at the auction, made sure everything's there, hadn't been started, wood was all still wrapped, or metal pieces there, construction book, the parts list, everything's fine. So when I got home and I was expecting all my treasures from the auction there, I looked, where's the plans? I got to look for the most important part there. So I had been talking to Tim at the auction, and had the model, so at our next meeting, I asked him, so it's, I borrowed the plans and a copy or something. I didn't have plans for this. I said, well, might be able to do something, that's a copy or something. Anyway, I went home from that meeting and looked up on Model Expo and actually did have a plan selling separately. So the plans were $35 and so $55 for that $170 ticket.
Did you get the link for book?
Yeah, Langford book was in there, yeah. And it's a Ben Langford model, which is really nice to go back to after having built the Molly model that's based on YouTube videos. But he's got so much detail in there, and there's a lot of it. But this model, and this is something I've never done before. This actually gets constructed upside down on a mold. It's like they're doing in the yards there. So you build the mold first, I did that, and you put the chine log on there. Chine log only glues to the stem and the transom. So, and it just sits in notches on the rest of the mold. So obviously, when I started putting the sides up against it to try and bend and shape it, of course, it popped those 2 glue joints right away. So even gluing them with CA glue. So I went back with that and using my trusty nail pusher. That's a great little tool for pit building. There's always little nails that you come in with. And I got this when I was building beaver because the preferred method for planking was to push nails in to the planks. And I had tried all different kinds of planting methods for planting. They were really good. This thing worked out great. And you could leave the nails in or pull them out or sand the heads off and have all your lines on there. So it's fun too, but it also came in handy with the sides here. There's no way that plant is going to design it. So it was fun to just push a nail in while it's gluing and then just exactly what you pull the nail out afterwards on that. So a lot of pieces on this model here have to be cut out of flat stock. You know, these and everything are provided, everything needs to be cut out. Tim gave me an idea that because with the plans, there's one plan which actually have to cut up to make the building board and then have to cut out to the sides to make the template. So you got to cut up your plan. But I had taken that plan I had to cut out and I went to a FedEx store to try and just get that building board piece cut out and it wouldn't fit in this, but they had a whole full-size sheet plan in there. Sheet for that. So I had a whole new one of those, and that's the one that I cut up now. A lot of these other pieces, night heads and knees and everything have to be cut out. They're on that's plans there. And so Tim suggested copy that piece out and cut it out. Make the parts from there. So that's been working out. And as a fun fact, a couple of years ago, 2-3 years ago, at auction, I bought an old Craftsman scroll saw. I haven't had much use for it up until now, but all these pieces that I've had to cut out, like the sides and everything, I'm getting to use my scroll saw. There's an added fun factor piece to it there. So, but anyway, that's where I'm at. As usual, some things I did pretty good and some things not so good. This is the easiest planking job I've ever done. Just on the bottom, figure out what the degrees are and just keep cutting off pieces and gluing them on. So that's fun. But anyway, more to come.
It's a change. You got a change.
Next. You have to go after Gene.
Yeah.
Too many times.
So this is where I'm currently at with my build for Siren. I think the last time I brought it, I hadn't painted it yet. So I put several coats of black on and then red for the interior bulkheads. I've also planked the decking for the interior. I still have to, it's only down to 120. I've got to take it down to 400. I'll sand it down to 400 before I seal it. Haven't quite decided what I'm going to use for a sealer. I used a wipe on poly for the maple on the exterior, and I think it's too shiny for the deck. So I'm going to probably come up with something different. On the interior, I've made all of the grating combings. They're all out of maple. The grating is just the kit grating for now, which is just basswood. I'll probably make my own grating, probably out of cherry, I'm thinking, to put it in there. I've also made all of the bits and everything for the deck. Instead of the way the instructions said was just to set it on the deck with pins, I've actually mortised into the deck, and it goes down a ways to give it some more rigidity. So these are all fairly long. I've even mortised out the tops for decorative. So those are the riders. The cannon, the carriage is just a mock-up. It won't be the final. It was just a set to make sure my port lids were done. The cannon is the one I brought in and showed how I made it at the previous meeting I was here. So yeah, so the next, so my next step is to finish sanding the deck, clear it, put all of the combings in place, and then start on coppering the bottom, which is, I'm a little nervous about doing because I've never coppered a hull before, so. But that's progress today.
What is the name of it?
Siren
Siren.
with a Y.
Very cool.
What kit is that?
This is, it started off as model shipways kit, but most of what's on there is scratch. All of the exterior planking and the interior bulkheads is maple that I milled myself. The only thing that's really the kit today is the frames, and the decking is still basswood, so I like how the basswood comes out of the planking for a deck. So that's so far, other than the grading, but like I said, I'll probably toss the grading to something a little bit nicer like Jerry or something. But everything else is scratch built today. I didn't show up there. The galley funnel is brass tubing that I soldered together. So instead of I think the kit talked about using wood dowels to make a funnel. I chose to make it out of brass tubing. So, but yeah, for the most part, the skeleton is really, for the most part, what came out of the kit today. Very pretty.
No USB drive with it, Gene?
I got a couple pictures on my phone, but
Okay.
next month I'll worry about that.
I've actually made progress on my model, but not enough to bother bringing it in.
I was gonna ask about your, you said the maple on the gun ports. Are those tree nails painted on, or are they actually?
No, they're actually miniature cherry dowels that I made through a draw plate and got it down to, I think I got it down to 0.71, and then drilled them out and glued them in. So the exterior, anyways, I didn't do it to the interior because it's paint, but the exterior is actually fastened.
Any other show and tell? Including online? Anyone online have something they want to share?
Does anybody want to see the progress on the Pearl?
Absolutely.
Let's see if I can. So after about a year of building parts, I'm actually kind of at the assembly portion of actually working on the model for a long while. It's just kind of been a hull with no mass, and what I really wanted to do is basically just strop every block, make every sail as much as I could. And now we're actually kind of at an assembly party. So really my, get this menu thing in my way. My intention for this is really to start with the center and work my way out. And I've seen a lot of model builders kind of go through, they get the mass in and they immediately start in on the shrouds. I'm working from the running rigging out. So working around the fife rail, and then the shrouds are probably going to be much later because I really don't want to try to fish around. I don't have long thin fingers, so I'm trying to make it as easy on myself as possible. One additional edit that I had to do is I added this this plank here to anchor the chain plates to, just because I was concerned about the kit would have you just leave this open. But I really like taunt rigging, so I can just envision me cranking on this thing and then having these chain plates pop up. So I just decided to add this additional plank, and then I'm gonna try to stain it to be similar in color to the rest of the hull. But making some pretty good progress on this. You know, essentially what I have left is I'm working on the top mast now to get the sails on, and then run that running rigging, and then we'll probably start working into the shrouds. But I really want to make sure everything's anchored off at the fife rail before I work my way out. So that's pretty much where I'm at. It's basically, it'll be topsails, driver, and jibs will be set. Everything else will be furled. So basically, you know, fighting configuration for the sail.
Very cool. I look forward to seeing it back on its cradle. I like your base a lot.
Yeah, the base added some complexity because the case that I have for it is 18 inches wide, and my lower main yard for the is about 17.5 inches wide, which originally when I just placed the model in there, it was going to fit. And now the base that I made shifts the model forward because it looks like it's being handed to you. So I'm probably going to have to cock the sails a little bit to the side, you know, as if she's like, you know, on a tack or something to try to get it to fit in the case now.
Crosses we bear. All right, very cool. Anyone else?
Thank you.
All right, I think rather than a break, we'll just launch right into the presentation.
Did you get it? Oh,
I have not yet.
Okay.
So we were gonna do, December, John was gonna do his compelling impressions presentation, and he was ill. He's gonna do it this month, but then he ended up having to help his son with an apartment move in, I think it was. Something like that. So he's helping his son with that, or his daughter, one of the two. So Ron has brought in a video. Okay, so in the past, there's been a challenge of how do we get, we can hear the audio, but the people online couldn't hear the audio. I wonder if we're gonna have that problem. We have the problem, how to have to solve it.
she will have it if he's playing it off. It's just like somebody speaking. Which we could focus on that.
Oh, I thought you had something on you.
I do,
Oh,
yeah.
okay. That one.
Is the video on YouTube?
Well, I need to change it to focus on that.
It seems the YouTube videos are hard to do on Zoom. It's not YouTube.
No, it is big.
Legs fall asleep. I'm start with this. You want me to hold the camera? No, this is just to be short. The presentation could be on the, but.
It is. I can see it on my laptop, so I'm not sure what's going on there. I'm also going to stop and start the recording. I forgot to do that.